Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH, and today we're doing a review of the new movie Longlegs. Now, I'm going to keep this raw, real, and I'll also keep it spoiler-free because I know this is brand new. And really, I'll tell you why I want to keep this spoiler-free. Number one, because you really can't... The thing about spoilers is, like, it is what it is. You have to talk about the realities of the movie and somewhat of the outcome and things like that, and I don't want to do that. And I didn't watch a single trailer for this movie. I didn't watch anything. I didn't look up anything. So when it came to this movie, I knew zilch, zip, nada about Longlegs. I knew two things, two words really. Nick Cage. That had me hook, line, and sinker. You know, over the years now, we've been seeing the renaissance of Nick Cage in horror with Mandy, a bunch of other ones, Prisoners of the Ghostland. We just saw him in Renfield not long ago, so he's been taking over, and I'm all for it. A Color Out of Space, I've been digging everything he's been doing. Some stuff I like more than others, and some stuff I can kind of do without. He's been doing a lot of stuff, so you can't love everything, but I'll say this. I think this is possibly my favorite horror Nicolas Cage movie I've seen so far. Yes, I loved Renfield when it came out last year, but the reality is, like, it kind of wore off on me, and I liked it, but in reality, this movie was effing good. I mean, Renfield was fun, I had a blast, but after some time's gone by, I'm able to say, okay, you know, that was fun. Okay, so let me give you just the basics of the movie. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say. Basically, this movie stars Maika Monroe, who, you know, we've seen her from It Follows and The Guest, and I know she's done other stuff. I can't say I've watched a ton of the other things that she's done, but I've always been very happy with her performances in movies and things like that. She's really lovable. You can get behind her so well, and you can really just kind of root for her, so to speak. She has that quality about her to where you just kind of care about the girl. You like her, and I just appreciate seeing her in movies. So when I realized this was her, I was like, okay, this is great. Again, I didn't look up anything about this movie. And, you know, she's about my age. I'm 32. I think she's 30 or 31. So I didn't recognize her all that much at first because, like, It Follows was 10 years ago now, which is crazy. 10 or maybe not 10, but close to it. It's been some time. So both of us have grown up a little bit. But she is working for the FBI, and there's this small town, and this looks like it takes place somewhere around the mid-90s. And there are these horrible murders going on. But there's an interesting thing about all these murders going on. We know somebody is doing these murders because they're leaving behind these notes that are encrypted in some kind of weird, creepy language. But the issue is there's no force of entry, there's no fingerprints, we don't know who or what is making this happen, and the family is in fact killing themselves. More often than not, it's the father who's taking everybody out. But we know that somebody else is involved because they are going through the notion of leaving these cryptic, creepy notes. Now, Maika Monroe's character, she is somebody that she's not so much like a clairvoyant or anything, so they don't make it seem like she's so Tina from Friday the 13th part, 7 or whatever she had, or characters like that where they can see things where they weren't around for. But she has this really strong intuition about her, which makes her a really great FBI agent. And that's the gist of the movie. The beginning of the movie, which I won't go into detail about, really creeped me out because it was through the lens of like one of those old kind of 8mm cameras, but it was presented as some sort of a flashback and done really well. Here's what I'll say about Nick Cage as well. I don't want to get into too much of it. He is creepy in this movie, and this movie has elements to it in terms of what kind of horror movie that is literally my favorite thing of the genre. If you know me, you know what kind of things I like in horror movies when it pertains to who or what the evil really is or what they represent. So I'll keep that part spoiler-free, but I'm going to say Nick Cage killed it. He did a great job with his character as Longlegs. That's all I'll say about him is his name. And I just think the guy has so much range. I mean, he's Nick Cage. Of course he does. But it's like every time I see him in a new horror movie, he's doing something we haven't seen done before from him at all. So he's just really creeping me out and doing such a great job with that. So that, I just give him all the applause in the world. He's just doing such a fantastic job. I love what he's doing. As far as the rest of the movie goes, I'm going to say I loved the tone of it. What I loved about it so much was how it was this very bleak, just dark movie. No humor whatsoever. I don't think this was an A24 film, but I also can say that it kind of has the DNA of one. It feels like it's just a movie that was created by a director with a vision without any interference. So that's what I say when I mean it feels like an A24 film. But a nice homey movie, not a big cast at all, zero humor whatsoever. So I don't know. Right now, I'm digging that. I've always been a big horror comedy guy, but something is so refreshing today about watching horror movies where there is literally not a drop of anything funny to it. So that I appreciate. I do think the way Nick's character is, though, it is a very strong flavor of tea that it's just going to be up for you to decide when you watch it whether you think it works or not, right? For me, I just loved it. And there's a comparison I want to make of an old-time musician, and this is all I'll say. I'll give you this little hint right here of what it really reminded me of, this kind of person. Somebody will know what I'm talking about just by this. You'll get it. Killed it. I loved it. No complaints. I mean, I was telling myself as I was driving home, well, Christian, what are you going to complain about because you can't... I don't have anything. But I really don't. This is such a refreshing movie to me. I loved it. So, to answer the question as well, yes, this is my favorite horror movie of the year so far. Everything about it just was my cup of tea. And I just applaud Nick Cage for just crushing it per usual. But Maika Monroe was sensational. This was also my favorite movie I've seen her in. I just think she did a sensational job. So, I really cannot recommend this movie enough. I would give this movie a 4.5 stars. I mean, I really, really loved it. And it is my highest rated movie of the year so far and my favorite movie so far. Hoping Nosferatu is going to be my 5-star of the year, which means it's going to be a life-changing film, but we'll see. I got faith in Robert, but so far, Longlegs gets 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up for me, guys. Please go check it out. I think you're really going to dig it, and I'll leave it at that, guys. So take care. Check out Longlegs. Nick Cage, you are the effing man. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.